Whenever you're ready.
Oh my God.
Jessica! I've never been called a fox!
Dana.
That's a classy name for a Harry.
I like it classic.
Okay.
Do you?
Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast.
Sure.
Out with the bad and in with the good, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Jessica.
Dana.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast. I am Dana Powell.
I'm Jessica Young.
And
we are here to rant and rave.
Perfect. It's not even going to be close. What a fun guessing game you and I have. We think that we're amazing. And then when one of us goes to edit, we're like, God, we couldn't have been more wrong. Also, just started the show. We are exactly 41 seconds in. I have already wasted an hour of your day by talking nonstop as if my head were a dam that you opened.
You know what? I say this over and over, but I think part of it is because we don't see people that often still.
No. Yeah.
And I realized I saw some friends on Friday. I could not come up for air, and I literally catch myself and I'm like, okay, you sound like an unhinged lunatic.
I know, me too.
I could be talking about bread and my head and my is exploding and what is coming out of my mouth. I mean, it's insane. But then I think about it, and let's be frank, we've kind of always done this.
Yes.
Pre-COVID even.
It's just exacerbated. Like, also, I had, not that you asked, but I'm going to tell you, such a beautiful weekend. Like, just chill. I really I did not stress myself out about, like, you didn't finish the dishes on Friday and you haven't vacuumed in 2 days. Like, I didn't, right. Which I know sounds crazy, but I have wood floors and 3 pets. And so if I don't, between 2 boys, well, 1 man and a boy, I shouldn't call him a boy. And on my pets, like, our floors are so yuck. Mm-hmm. We all have to wear slippers or our feet will be black like coal.
Yeah.
And I vacuum all the time. But anyway, so I didn't worry about any of that. And I just listened to music, watched crime shows, painted cement figurines, made things out of craft glue.
Which is an amazing happy accident.
I updated my 2-year-old terrarium. I was very happy about it. She really needed some work. It was a jungle in there. And then I realized I was like posting all these videos because I was having such a lovely, and I was like, oh my God, you guys, I'm living life, not really alone. Because if you think that my husband or my child came and spoke to me once in the hours and hours I sat happily humming at the table, you are wrong. It was as if I were a ghost in their home and they had no idea I was there. Yep.
Like, well, she hasn't told us to stop playing games yet. Let's keep going.
Exactly. They were like, let her be happy. She won't make us do anything. That's exactly it. Because I had told Dan Tipton, so your amazing husband bought us both those big old plants.
Yes.
Those alocasia big elephant
royal
ears.
Shields.
So mine's getting real big, Jessica. Like real big.
Because it's getting some TLC from Dana Powell.
Yeah. So I was looking at it, I watered it, and it has roots coming up the top of the pot. So she needs to be repotted. And as soon as I do that, she's going to be like a freaking Jurassic Park plant.
Yes.
Dan and I were like, okay, I think we're going to have to move her outside at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's huge.
Because
my back room, that ceiling back there, it's added on to the house. It is high.
Yeah.
Now, unless I set it in the center of the room at the highest point of the ceiling, it's not going to fit.
That's amazing.
14 feet ceilings. Anyway.
I love it.
So I had told him, I also have a giant pencil cactus outside that's in a pot and it's grown out of it. And I've needed to repot it for so long. And he keeps complaining that it's not getting new. It's not growing the way it should. And I'm like, because we need to repot it. But I need his help because these things are massive.
Oh, you can't do that alone. I look at that thing every time I'm at your house. You actually might need more than 2 hands to do that.
Oh, 100%. I don't even know how I'm gonna get it out of the pot, if
I
I'm being
know.
honest. It's huge, but it has to happen. Although I do think I keep telling him, and I just haven't done it, I need to propagate because I can fill
Mhm.
it in. It's a pencil cactus
Yeah.
is pretty easy to propagate, but, whatever. What is this, a gardening show? I don't think so.
Well, I also did some planting this weekend, and I was thinking
Woo!
of you because I'm like, "Shit." I had sent you a picture of a plant that was slow growing, but then, like, out of nowhere,
Had a
had
growth spurt?
2 pups, and I was like, "What?" But it was that snake plant. I can't remember the true
Yes!
name for it.
A
Well, I
Sansevieria?
forgot that one that you told me got too wet, and you were right. I
Mhm.
forgot to take it out of the soil, so I went out to it
Oh,
yesterday, and I
is it
tried to
mush?
take off all the mush leaves, and I ended
Mm,
up pulling out the good leaves too. So here's what I did. I dug it up. I had no idea that a plant like that, that's not that big,
mhm.
had a billion tributaries on its root system.
Yeah.
So as I was digging it, I mean, the whole pot, it looked like the capillaries in a lung when they like inject
Yeah.
something in like a video. So I was trying not to damage the root system, but the roots filled up the whole pot and were way
Mhm.
bigger than these plants. I just dug it up. The soil was still wet in the middle. I can't believe it. And
Yeah.
I put in some charcoal and I put in some new dry soil, and
Good,
then
yeah.
I just put that pile of roots and the nubs back in, and I'm just hoping for the best.
Yeah, that'll work. Absolutely. If
I'm
your soil's
serious. I'm
too
like,
wet
all
like
right.
that, I was afraid you were gonna say, "I put it in the sun so it would dry out," and I was gonna be like, "Go get it now." You do, you have to change that soil or those roots will rot.
Yep.
But yeah,
And
she'll come back fine.
I'm starting to learn from you, and I looked this up with something else. Overwatering is almost
Number
worse
1
than
killer.
underwatering. Yep.
Absolutely. I
Especially for houseplants.
Absolutely. I sometimes if I am unsure about a particular plant and its watering needs when they're new or something like that,
Mhm.
and also, I had to relearn everything for winter. It's a
Yes.
different thing altogether.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. I lost my train of thought.
I
What did
think we're talking about over and underwatering, but I think at this point too, I'm going to get a little teardropper. And for my tiny plants and things that are in vessels that have
Yeah.
no drainage, I feel like I'm going to put a dropper of water in there instead of putting it under. I'm like, oh, I just put it under the sink for a second and it's fine. I
Yeah,
think I'm
you
just
can
going to
get
drop a few drops in and let it be.
You know what's great for that? This is also great for if you have, like, a little succulent arrangement where, like, I
Mm-hmm.
I build, like, little cowboy scenes and stuff like that, and you've
Mm-hmm.
got gravel trails and whatever. Because 'cause I'm super cool.
The
They make
misters.
the black well, they have that, but also there's a plastic bottle you can buy, and I think it's like $1.19, and it
Mm-hmm.
has a little pointy hook piece that it's a squirt bottle. But that's a
Oh,
pointy thing, and it directs the water exactly so when I
yes,
water
yes,
my
yes.
succulents, I water right there so that water goes straight down to the roots, but maybe the whole pot doesn't have to be wet,
Yeah,
only because
that's a
overwatering
good
is
idea.
one of the number 1 killers of all
Yep,
plants, and especially succulents.
that's how I killed my rock plant, which had grown so big. It looked abnormal to me. It got so tall,
I know.
and it was because I hadn't been watering it, and they're supposed to be dormant in the winter and get watered like once every 3 months. And
Mhm.
I was watering it because I'm like, this is doing so good. I need to keep watering it. And that thing literally dissolved in front of my eyes in
Yeah,
24 hours.
I had one do that too. I still have one of them, the
It's
rock one, but
devastated.
yeah, and also those things that come in teeny tiny pots, people think,
Mhm.
"Oh, it's tiny, it'll be easy." I find that's the hardest because it's really hard to
Yes.
gauge how much water is still in your soil and stuff,
Yep.
especially if you don't have a water meter, but
Yep.
those tiny pots dry out so fast,
I know.
and so it's so easy to over or underwater them, so
Yep.
don't beat yourself up.
Thanks.
And that's this edition of Dana and Jessica's Unprofessional Gardeners. No, I'm obsessed with my plants because I've told you I'm building the world I want to live in. I can't be a part of the real world right now
Yes.
because I don't trust people because they lie about their COVID status, their vaccination status, and
Mhm.
3,000 people a day are still dying. So, do I think I would die? No. Is it okay that I don't want to get sick as a dog? Yeah, it is.
Yes,
So,
correct.
so I'm just literally making and building the world around myself because I can't afford to buy the things that I want. I just make it. I'm realizing I bought all of these plants in 2020. I'm a pandemic plant parent. And
Mhm.
I'm not even joking you. Some of my plants, they're 2 years old now
Yep.
and they're huge. They are
They're going
huge.
through the terrible twos.
They are Jurassically huge. So I am not the tiny plant owner anymore. I live in a jungle. So
Yeah, I love it.
I do
An
too.
oxygen-filled jungle.
It just brings me peace. It really does. And I made sure to have a setup where it doesn't feel cluttered or and I don't have
Yep.
gnats everywhere because I have carnivorous plants, so I don't have bugs. Like
Mhm.
I just it's a dream world and I love living in it.
It's awesome. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
I like looking at it behind you while we record.
I know, isn't it so cute? Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Anyway, that's not why people are here.
Well, we both have rants about things that happened within our week, so that's also
Oh, should we
very
just move on
fitting.
in? Would you like to tell people how to get a hold of us in case
Oh, yeah.
because
Hey,
we used our own
newsflash.
rants. Yeah, we did our own rants this week. We're looking for some other ones, and I guarantee you somebody's aggravated about something out there. So tell us.
And it's funny. I think I've said this before, but we've gotten a few messages from people that say, "Oh, I love the show," or "I listen, and I've been dying to send something into you, but I'm just too embarrassed," or "It feels silly." I can't make this more clear. Don't be embarrassed. Nothing is silly. And again, we have read every single rant that we have been sent from you guys. And the more detailed and your personal take on it is what makes it fun. Okay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
please don't be shy. Please keep the messages rolling in. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Rants and Raves podcast, on Twitter at raves_the. You can email us directly at the Rants and Raves podcast at gmail.com, or you can hit our contact button on the website, www.therantsandravespodcast.com. If you want to
Yay!
leave a review or rate us, please
Please
do.
do.
We have over
Please.
100 reviews, and our dear friend Matt Marr, who is part of 90 Day Gaze, and they have taken our
Yes.
podcast on the road, he made us feel really good because he said, "Girl, I'm really blown away that you guys have 100 reviews. That's a lot." So,
Aw,
for
that's
whatever it's
so nice
worth.
because when you said that, my eyes rolled so hard in the back of my head, I bruised them. And the only reason I
Hilarious.
care is because that's exactly how people find us. Like,
Yes,
that
no,
goes into
exactly.
all the magical algorithms and all that poo-poo,
Mhm.
and that's when people are browsing for something that might interest them, that's the only
Yes.
way we pop up to them. Because newsflash, we're not celebrities with a big production company behind us. We are 2 women. I am sitting at the most cluttered craft table with cement and paint everywhere,
I'm
and
sitting
Jessica.
in a $99 Amazon Basics office chair that literally causes me so much pain to my buttock and up
Mhm.
my back. It's not even funny, but here we are.
Look at the
Okay.
sacrifice we make for nothing.
Doing the best we can.
You know,
Also, I
I
don't know why I didn't say ass and why I said buttocks. I've never used the word buttocks. This is part of Jessica getting further and further into Aunt Jessica and
uh-huh.
acting like an 80-year-old. Sometimes these words that I don't normally use as part of my vernacular fly out of my mouth, and I don't know what's happening or where it's coming from, but I don't like it.
Well, I don't wanna be rude, but you've been that way since the day I met you. It's part of what I love about you. Oh, Grandma Jessica.
Oh my
Oh, where's my coins?
God.
Where's my coins? Where's my coins?
Stop it. There are so many things for years that our friend Sarah will say to me, "Oh, great. Will you bring that over in one of your pocketbooks? Are you going to have some root beer barrels in there too?"
Your pocketbook. Your pocketbook.
Out of control. Well, you
I love
guys, okay. I've got a lot to rant about hotels. I mean, I always do, but
Yeah,
because
but
I've
you've been
had to stay
working
in
lately.
them,
Yes, yeah.
for work, I've got a lot to say. I mean, just in this past week, I was in yet another hotel and I have multiple rants, but I chose one. I chose the most offensive one to
Oh,
my olfactory senses.
oh no,
Okay.
does this need a gag trigger warning?
No,
Okay.
I mean, for some, but
Yeah.
not in that grody way. Yes, it makes me gag because I hate the smell.
Okay.
Okay, my rant, we're in 2022. To me, just when something is for the general public,
Mm.
don't make it so specialized or something that, yes, some people might like this and not that, but just do something that is pleasing and unoffensive to the masses. Okay. A very plain, clean scent in
Okay.
particular is what I'm talking about. My rant is a hotel choosing a very strong fragrance for the body care that they provide in their hotel room bathrooms.
Okay.
You want to know what it is?
Mhm.
The Warm Oak Collection by Gilchrist and Soames, to be exact.
Okay.
I'm going to read you what they had the nerve to say on the bottle, okay?
The nerve.
The,
Okay.
the nourishing lather imparts the brisk and modern scents of oak, cedar, citrus, and spice. I'm trying to wash my armpits, not plank some salmon for the grill.
Jessica.
I am so angry about it. I don't want to smell like a freaking tree, okay? Maybe some lumberjack type does when he's out in the
No,
woods,
they
but
don't.
really he wants to put some deer urine on him
He's
so he blends in with the surroundings. Okay, I'm not a
he
fool.
smells like piss and sawdust, I guarantee you.
Yeah. Yes. I do not want to smell like a tree, especially not an oak or a cedar. I am sorry. I am telling you right now, I've got a laundry list of scents that I hate. And I'll
Mhm.
tell you from the top, amber,
Okay.
number one offender. What
Not a
is
fan
tied?
either.
What is tied? Maybe second or if tied in first place is cedar. Okay. And let me tell you something.
Now, are we talking faux cedar scent or actual cedar wood you also do not like in your drawers of empties?
Okay, I hate it in drawers. I hate it in closets. I will tell you, this sounds hypocritical. The only exception is there are cedar trees in certain areas that I have traveled to. And when you smell them in their element out in the wild, I don't love it, but I don't mind it.
Okay.
You're not bringing that in my home. You're not putting that on my body. I now sometimes get out my magnifier from my camera so I
Mhm.
can zoom in to every ingredient listed on any kind of man beard wash product that I buy for Alan because
Mm.
I hate it. And almost all of them have cedar. And let me tell you something, Dana. I have
Mhm.
a friend who,
Let your
for
teeth loose.
years,
Let your teeth loose. You're grinding them down. It's not worth it.
so angry. My girlfriend, Amanda, who doesn't live here anymore, we used to hang out all the time in my early days in LA. She would come over and we would like binge watch the shit out of shows, okay, at
Mhm,
my
mhm.
apartment. And whenever she would come over, she would always like have just taken a shower. So I knew the girl was clean. Okay. It wasn't because she smelled dirty,
Right.
but I'm like, ugh. And I would like literally have to swallow my bile
Mhm, mhm.
because I'm like, why the fuck does she smell like a gerbil cage? Always. I don't get it.
Jessica, what's your middle name? Morinda
Barbara.
Young. Oh, I said Morinda.
Barbara.
Jessica, Barbara Young. Don't, how dare you think your friend smells like a cage that a gerbil poops in?
Smells like the shavings that a guinea pig lays on.
Jessica.
Dana,
Jessica Miranda Young.
I couldn't say it to her as much as it killed me,
No,
and I
of
would
course
grit
you
my teeth.
cannot.
But I'm like, God damn, I need to know what smells. What is she using that smells like a freaking rodent terrarium? Okay. Well, finally,
Oh
one
no.
day I was at her house and she's like, the door's unlocked. She's like, come in, I'm in the shower. So she walks out, towel on her head, in a robe, and then it happened. I
What?
see her starting to lather
Lather?
herself in a lotion. Let me tell you something. I think my head spun around like The Exorcist.
Mhm.
I literally ripped the tube out of her hand and I said, God damn, this is the culprit. This is the answer. It was cedar. And Dana, here's my number 3 scent that I hate. And I know you're going to get real upset. And now I'm going to offend you because I know it brings you joy. Eucalyptus.
I like the smell of eucalyptus. However, I am aware it's a strong scent, and if used too much, it smells like Bengay.
Thank you. Well, you
Yes.
know what it doesn't belong with? Cedar in a lotion.
Um, Jessica,
Yes.
what did your friend say? I need to know the rest of that conversation.
Okay, I ripped it out of her hand. I
Uh-huh.
probably scared the living daylights out of her. And I
Definitely. Yeah.
said, oh my God, you have no idea the solace that this has caused me. This was to another fellow Jew, so I knew she knew what I meant. That's a
Yeah, because
Yiddish
I
term
don't
for
know that.
aggravation.
Okay. Okay.
Soros. I said,
Okay.
you have no idea the Soros this has caused me. She's like, what is your problem? And what in the hell are you talking about? I said, girl, for the last several years,
I have
every
thought
time I'm
you
around you,
stink. You
yep,
stink to the point it makes me angry. And then
yes,
she maybe should have not been your friend anymore.
I think she was equally laughing her ass off at
Of
me
course.
being a maniac
Yeah.
and being maybe hurt, maybe offended. She would have told me, like, F you. She was the kind of person who would have given it back to me. But she was crying, laughing. I said, girl, I'm not just going to take this away, but I said, I am taking this. It's leaving with me so it can go in the dumpster. And I'm going to treat,
Jessica!
yes. I said, I'm going to treat you to a new lotion.
That
Okay.
I like. So when you put it on your body, I always accept you olfactorally. Olfactorally.
Y'all, I'm telling
The
you.
world according to Jessica. No,
I
I don't
mean,
blame you. Scent is a very personal thing. And I will say,
yes.
I've I haven't lived a ton of places, but I have to say, LA specifically has a real hard time with scents on both ends of
Ugh,
the spectrum because we have groups of men. Well, I can't say just men, also women who
that bathe
literally bathe and soak. They brine themselves in
in
colognes
cologne
and
and perfume.
parfums and yes.
Uh-huh.
And so then you have the opposite end of the spectrum here where they'll put a sign on a door and say, if you are wearing any kind of scented cologne, perfume, don't even enter. And
Mhm.
you're like, what? People are real sensitive to scents
Yep.
out here. I'm
Do
like,
you
what
like
would I
cedar?
do?
That's what I need to know.
I do. Uh-huh.
Mhm,
I'm not obsessed with it. Don't say you're judgy, uh-huh. I
mhm.
don't wanna hear your judgy.
Do you buy cedar scented beard wash for Dan?
Lord, no. I definitely don't.
Good.
I will say, I don't want Dan smelling like some weird non-existent outdoor place. I a lot of male a lot of male scents are that, like, aspen and ginger, like, things that I don't want going together anyway, and I
Aspen and ginger.
I'm not getting up in anybody's
There's a new
anything.
soap, collection for you, Raven and Star.
I don't want it. I don't like it, and I'm not and if you wash yourself with it and that scent is on you, I'm not getting up in your anything.
No.
Not your neck, not your face, and definitely not your private parts where I could bring you joy. I'm not. I'm not. Sorry about it. I'm a human with a husband. We do things.
Oh, wow. God.
We happily do things, but not if it smells like a non-existent outdoor place. I'm not doing
No,
things.
that's
It's
really
not
funny. A non-existent outdoor place. I'm dying.
all of those scents that are like, it's springtime. You smell that thing and you're like, no, it ain't. It smells
Okay.
like some old cheap perfumes,
Yes.
and then you slapped an outdoor name on it to try and
Yes.
verbally convince me that it's refreshing, and it's not.
I
And
couldn't
I've
agree more.
never stood on a mountaintop and smelled any of the things in that bottle or that
Talk to
candle.
me when you can extract the essence of crocus and daffodil, and then we can collaborate on a springtime fragrance.
Okay.
I'll
Okay,
even
I'll
throw
just
water hyacinth into the mix. I'm pretty sure that's a springtime perennial, right, Miss Powell, the
yes,
plant expert?
yes, for sure. Well, but
Okay.
also, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
So, at Christmas time, uh, my
Amaryllis bulbs, I love them.
so do I. Not where I was going, but remember when Kira,
Mhm.
my lovely, lovely friend, gave me gardenia blossoms
Yes,
and
yes.
said, put them in a bowl of water beside your bed.
Mhm.
Now, I have never been a fan of the scent gardenia in most lotions or anything like that. I don't
Mhm.
know why. It just was a little overbearing for me or something.
Mhm.
I have to tell you, I have never gotten so much joy out of a dumb bowl of water in a
Yep.
Tupperware by my bed. The
Yep.
scent was so refreshing. I did feel like I was outdoors in a magical wonderland.
Yeah. It
Now,
is
do
amazing. My
you
neighbor
think
has one, and it's
I
intoxicating.
wish I could grow one. I really, really do. I don't think they're easy.
Mm.
But I have a question.
Mhm.
Now, did my scent likes change with age, the way that your taste buds do?
I think so because there are things I used to like that I don't. And
Right.
also, recently, I had to go to a vendor who does the most intoxicating scents. I'm going to tell you right now. Voyage, a C, that's voyage. And then the next word is ET, last word CIE.
Mhm,
She couldn't be lovelier. So, yeah, I'm giving a little shout out to a business that I love and respect and support.
mhm,
Everything is handmade and hand poured in the US.
mhm.
In the US, in Los Angeles, I just went to her warehouse where it's all done.
Oh,
It's
wow.
all women. It was
Mm.
the loveliest environment. I hadn't been to her in years, and I was like, "I just need you to know I don't talk about energy and a vibe, and
Right.
you've created both things here, and I would kill to work in a place like this."
Oh,
It's
that's lovely.
it really is, and she was like, "Oh, thank you so much." My diatribe as usual, where am I going with this? She gifted me a bottle of perfume, and she gave me tuberose, which normally I would have been like, "Eh, eh."
Mhm.
It is so beautiful, so delicious, and she told me, she goes, "I really wanna give you tuberose because it's the hardest of the scents to extract and or for people to try to duplicate." So,
Oh,
I really appreciated that, and let me tell you, the way you are with gardenia, that's how I feel with this tuberose.
that's interesting. When I was younger, I hated the smell of rose,
Yep,
but as an adult, I actually really enjoy it.
I know. When it's
Uh,
real or like
when it's
rose
real,
water, it's
yes,
so good.
rose water, yes, and that used to be something I was like, "Nah," it felt like, grandma scent to
Yeah.
me.
Mhm.
So maybe I've
With
just
your
become
corn
a
silk
grandma.
powder puff and a
Correct.
little bit of rose water.
Yes, exactly. But I do enjoy it now. So, yeah, I guess
Same.
our smell desires. Jessica,
Yes.
I just want to put you back in that position with your friend for a second.
Mhm.
Can I'm gonna be her,
Okay.
okay? Or Dana's a version of her. Let's pretend
Mhm.
you did this to me. Um, Jessica, why
Yes.
if how I smelled has bothered you for so long, how come you didn't say something like, "Oh, it just kinda gives me a headache." I would have made sure to cater to you in some way so that it wasn't offensive to you.
Because as angry and as opinionated as I am,
Yeah.
I swallow most of my thoughts as to not put that on someone else, unless
Mhm.
you get me fired up.
'Kay. And me just putting lotion on got you all fired up because 'cause I'm in a towel and I just got out of the shower?
That is a gross understatement. It caused me severe distress.
Yeah.
And it was a problem in our friendship that if you decide to continue to use this, then I cannot hang out with you.
Okay, so if I stink to you
Mm-hmm.
personally,
Yes.
we can no longer be friends.
Okay.
Is
You
that
know
is
that I
that what
did.
I'm gathering from you?
I know that you know this, I think. Just before I wrap up this and to finish your question,
Mm,
you know, I spoke out about this to a mutual friend of ours during a casting workshop once.
I do?
And somebody was wearing
Oh, yeah!
god awful old lady Jean Nate meets Gloria Vanderbilt from 1976 at Eckerd Drugs kind of perfume. And we were doing the casting workshop, and I was like, whoa, I was tasting it. And this person and I would always like laugh and kind of nudge each other and write things down on our notebook sometimes and show it to each other during a workshop because you're supposed to be respectful and not
Mhm.
talk. Um, and so I wrote on my notebook and slid it over to her and I said, I'm sorry, are you not choking on the god awful perfume that somebody is wearing? It is so fucking strong. I can taste it. And I'd
And
love to know
Jessica.
who it is.
And who was it, Jessica?
The person turned purple and their eyes bulged out and they wrote back, is it me? And I thought, it's not you, but I'm like, well, she must be wearing perfume to ask. So I leaned over to, jokingly be like, no. Well, I took a whiff and y'all, it was her. It was her.
You were shit talking her
You
right
can't
to her
take that back.
face.
You
Right
can't
to
take that back. Right to her face. Like, what am I? And I even said, and again, this is while a class is going on and somebody is acting their heart out in a scene in front of a
They've been
casting
working for a
director.
week, hoping this is their one shot.
Okay. And I just was like, oh my God. And again, I was like, had that nervous laughter where I almost like choked because I was freaking out and like writhing in my chair. And I just wrote to
I'll bet
her,
you anything you couldn't have squeezed a sesame
no,
seed up your butthole.
nope. I said, I'm very sorry, but I meant what I said. Clearly, I can't take this back. So I'm just going to dig in on this. And
Well,
you need to stop
luckily,
wearing it.
luckily, it was a very funny person you did it to, so they just laughed with you.
She
And
did laugh.
what a fun memory.
I mean, it was beyond. But again, I mean, what am I going to do? Oh, I didn't mean it, or it's not that bad.
Oh,
Then
it's
it's
not
like,
you. It's
shut
not
up.
you. It smells faintly of poo poo. That's not you.
No. I just had to own up, and I'm like, I meant what I said. Sorry.
Amazing. You're hilarious. Okay, I just want to wrap up by saying I completely
Yes.
agree with you at
Mhm.
a place where you're providing something for all ranges of people. Honestly, if I'm being honest, it probably should be unscented.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Unscented or and to each his own. And it's all subjective. But I was gonna say, or an aqua scent, because yes, there are fragrances that are called ocean or aqua, but I think a lot of people have trouble getting that real clean essence, and it still
Yeah.
has these other notes added in where it becomes like
Like
cologne. So
Windex or yeah.
unscented, yes. What a concept.
Well, thank you. I bet I'll be really successful in life now.
You can consult for hotel
Yes.
hospitality.
Oh god, it'll be nice to have a job. All right, Jessica, are you ready for my rant?
Yes, I am.
We are both going to be so ready for a cleansing breath by the time we're done today.
Yes.
Because my rant is about when you post something positive or uplifting on your social media
Mhm.
and then a stranger has to comment. So let me just make this specific so we all know that I'm not just
Mhm.
being like some crazy old biddy with a bee in her bonnet. I posted the other day on my Instagram, and if any of you follow our personal whatever, I try to keep it light and positive because Jessica and I, I don't really want. We're both actresses, and so we have to be public. We have a public face because we host a very successful podcast, and so anyway, I am mindful, I'll say,
Mhm.
about what I post, and I think it's probably clear that you and I typically, as people, like to put goodness into the world and cheerlead for others
Mhm.
and just put goodness back. I guess that's all
Yep.
I want to say. So I posted, someone gifted me, our good friend Candace gifted me a adorable pot for a plant.
Mhm.
How crazy. Who knew I liked plants? And it says on it, belief in yourself, which I
Love it.
think is so cute. I love the
Mhm.
trend of the punny pots. Okay.
Same.
It's cute. It'll go out one day and I'll buy new pots. Who
Uh,
cares?
then will you please give me the one that says I wet my plants?
Yes.
Because my sophomoric brain is the biggest fan of that one.
Well, and you gave me those little metal plant
Yes.
stake things with little sayings on them. And I move one of them around to different plants because it specifically says, please don't die. And I put it in plants that I'm worried about.
Amazing.
I just feel like it knows the message. It knows I
Yes.
care when I'm not around, right? Please don't
Absolutely.
die. And then it reminds me when I walk past it to pet it and say, please don't die. I love
Mhm.
you.
Yep.
Because that's who I am. So anyway, I posted that. And then I've also talked a lot about how I have an app on my phone called I Am. And it's a
Mhm.
daily affirmation app that you can schedule your own theme, your own, like if you're working on confidence, if you're working on a
Mhm.
positive attitude, whatever it is, if you're struggling, you can choose a theme. And then it gives, have programmed it for myself to give me an affirmation 4 times a day.
Nice.
And I've done it for a couple of years now, and it's gotten to a point when I hear that notification, it goes, "Pling." I get excited and I want to see what that positive thing is for day
Mhm.
because I can't tell you how many times it has jerked my story snake's brain, which
Yep.
is when you make things up like, oh, somebody hasn't responded to me because now they hate me,
Mhm.
because I rolled my eyes at a joke they told 7 years ago and it's been coming, right? That now you just entered my brain. It's really not
Yes.
pleasant. So anyway, I put this out there, okay, right? Someone, the affirmation said, I am built of courage, which I don't know what it was about that, but it resonated with me. I liked the idea. I didn't just poof come into being.
Right.
My lifetime and my life experience has built this crazy motherfucker.
Mhm.
And I got to be proud of her because that's all I got. Right.
Yep.
And that made me stop whatever craziness I was doing at the moment and go, oh, right. My therapist told me you didn't wake up crazy one day.
Mhm.
She didn't say that. That would be the worst therapist ever.
I mean, let's face it, you crazy, but it didn't happen overnight.
I know she wants to tell me that so bad, but she's very professional. Uh, but she was like, you didn't become this version of Dana overnight. You didn't just wake up like that. It's a lifetime of experience and trial and error and all of these things. And so
Mhm.
the idea that I didn't just come into being, I was built. And then it made me go, oh, when I was very young, I'd never been away from home more than 7 days in a row. I had never been to California ever in my
Mhm.
life. And I picked up what I could pack in a car with $1,200 between me and my boyfriend with walkie-talkies because we didn't have cell phones in those
Yes.
days.
True.
And I moved to a place I had never been that was scary as shit.
Yep.
And I stayed.
Mhm.
And I built a life and I bought a house and I made a career and I had a family.
Yep.
Like that's courage, man.
Yes.
Because I've said, and it's the honest to God truth, when I left, I believed that man was going to dump me as soon as we got here. And I even told my parents, do not let me come home for a year. Do not let me come home for a year.
Wow.
I am built of courage.
That's right.
Jessica, so are you. And I'm sorry, anybody listening right now, if you get out of bed every day, especially right now during this
Yes.
pandemic and how we've had
Yes.
to live our lives, the political unrest in our country and in the world, honestly,
Mhm. Mhm.
if you get out of bed every day, I'm proud of you. You're built of
Yes.
courage.
Yep.
It's a brave person that lives in our world right now. It just
That's
is.
right. No, you're right.
So now, having said all of that, somebody who is a complete stranger to me because I have a public profile felt the need to comment. I said in my thing, I also really liked my affirmation today. And I said, maybe you needed to see these messages today, question mark, exclamation point.
Mm-hmm.
Someone took the time and the energy to write on there with a small s. You know, your phone automatically capitalizes the first word of your sentence. So this person had to go out of their way and uncapitalize the first letter and wrote sure with an eye roll emoji.
Unreal.
And the thing that makes me the most mad about it is I'm like, it's not worth the energy you put in to type those 5 characters. What is your objective? Are you just trying to bring people down or say you're a fake, you're a fraud, you're miserable, and I know it? What exactly is your objective and what are you getting out of it? Because I'm not going to respond to it, obviously.
Right.
I just hearted it. And I always say, if somebody comes back at me, I just pretend I'm like, oh, sure, right? A pot can change my day. Oh, well. And I make it a compliment even when it's not. I don't know. I just try to can manipulate my own brain. But Jessica, explain to me why you can have a million people that are like, I really needed that today, or thank you, or what a cute pot, or I love the world you're building for yourselves. But that one person can waste their energy for no gain, and it still sticks in your craw.
I have a lot of thoughts on this, but it really comes down to one thing. And it makes me furious. And I always feel this way when people try to tear someone down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, in these cases, always for the wrong reason. I mean, yes, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but why do you feel the need to put your thoughts on something that is positive and uplifting, which was the intent and goal of this? What is it serving them? I mean, again, unless you enjoy making people feel bad or hurting them. I've said this before and I will say it till the day I die. I wish that people took as much care and thought over things that are important in life and that you should be outraged by than with something like this. You don't like it? Unfollow, scroll past, whatever. I wish that person had enough to say about people who are still pushing misinformation about anything at this point.
Yeah.
Go blow up a thread with that if you want to.
Exactly. And I was also pissed because this person's handle, I'm just going to call it out because they didn't really do anything wrong or harmful to anyone. It just annoyed me. But the person's handle is Gingerbeard something. So they've liked several of my things before. And I only noticed it because, red hair, don't care. us redheads, we stick together and we're like a secret club. So I was like, oh my God, Gingerbeard's following me. Okay. Clearly I was wrong about Gingerbeard.
Yeah.
But Jessica, it blows my mind. They'll do it on an advertisement. I've told you guys this before. I was in an Amazon Fire commercial sitting at a table where I improvised some funny little bits and people just tons of comments we believe that girl eats a salad, and it's an ad.
Yep.
It's an advertisement for an Amazon Fire Stick. What do you care about the person that's in it?
Exactly.
Why you got to judge me and tell me how to live my life when Amazon thought I could sell their Fire Stick and I think I did. But you're taking energy from your own life and time to comment on an advertisement.
Yep.
You're taking energy from your own life when I just said belief in yourself and you're built of courage to go, sure. What is but I think the thing is, people are looking for an outlet. I think they think it's funny and it's a fun way to get, we have rants. It's their version of rants. But what they don't realize is it's harmful to people because if
I don't think it's their version of rants, to be honest.
No, I think it is. They're getting that energy out that they need to get out when what they really need to do is take a boxing class.
That's true too, but I also am certain and would bet money on the fact that he didn't just do that on your page. He does it on many things.
On everyone because
that is a personality trait.
It's fulfilling this need for them to push and bully others.
Well, I don't want to call that a rant. I'm sorry. This is maybe the first time we've had some disagreement.
No, I think they
I
need
think
I'm
it's
saying I
called
think they
being an asshole.
it is. They need to be able to rant. That's their version of it.
Yeah.
They're taking something a need that they have to get the frustration out. We always say, "We know these aren't big deals, but for some
Mhm.
normalcy, we need to get this out so that we can have the space to fill up with goodness," right?
Yep.
But they're not doing that. They're just taking out their shit on everybody, and they
Right.
can walk away anonymously because they don't have to look at your face.
Yeah.
And it's like, did that ruin my
That's
day?
another thing.
No, that didn't ruin my day, but I'm still thinking about it, right?
Mhm.
It's just like I have a girlfriend who she has a very popular faith-based social media
Mhm.
account thing. And the things that people write on there are just appalling sometimes. Now, she doesn't get a lot of it because it's such a niche thing. It's mostly
Mhm.
like-minded faith believers that come to look for that, right?
Mhm.
But then people will write things like, "Wow, you're really pretty for a Christian girl." Oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Does it say in the Bible to love Jesus, you got to be ugly? What are you talking about? Why are you so shocked that I don't look like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast when I sing
Stop
Jesus
it.
loves you, this I know?
Oh my
I'm sorry,
god.
but that song says red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in his sight. So, yes, I can be pretty and love Jesus. Right?
100%.
It's just like, look, if you don't want to put goodness out into the world, you don't have to, but you don't have to shame or torture
Right.
someone who does. Just move on.
Yep. There's always someone or some people that are going to find a reason and a way to try to tear down or hate or
Mhm,
make them look bad
mhm.
to anyone you could think of
Yeah.
throughout time, from the most righteous, noble of people,
Mhm.
get hate mail and awful comments and all
So
that. So
so
that's why
it's
even I catch myself sometimes where I read something and I'm outraged by it and I want to write a comment, and then I'm like,
yeah.
and this doesn't mean to not speak up, because we all need to speak up at certain times. But I have also just, it's taken a lifetime of learning when to choose my battles, where I'm
Yeah.
like, I've even written out like a freaking page worth of stuff and deleted it and not posted it or not hit send or whatever, because I'm like, what is this going to do? It's not going to make me feel better.
And it's not
It's
gonna
not going to
change
change
them.
their
Mhm.
mind.
Yeah.
What it's going to do is open up a barrage of lunatics
Mhm.
to come and now go crazy on me, and then maybe
Yes.
start looking at my page and picking me apart. I'm like, done. Don't
Yeah.
want to do it. Don't need to know from it. If I don't like something or it's making me mad, uh, I just choose to focus my energies elsewhere. Doesn't
Somewhere
mean that
else.
I pretend it doesn't happen, because I
Yeah.
think we do need to see the reality of what others think that doesn't always align with our
Of
way of
course,
thinking.
for sure.
But I like to do it from a distance and then go, nope.
Well, and I also it would have to be really important to me, not just a hand holding up a flower
Hmm.
pot that says belief in yourself.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
that's not enough to make me go, "I have to make a statement."
No, totally. I know.
It's just is so, like and that stuff wears on you over time. That's the
Yeah.
dark side of social media. But just to wrap up my rant, because I know y'all get it, there's also a light side of it where I shared with Jessica this weekend. I was posting my little cat videos and stuff, and these two people were chatting on my post and realized they both loved singing, they both loved sushi, they both lived in New York City, they were both Asian proud, like you could tell from their handles and stuff,
Hmm.
and they're gonna meet.
I love it.
It blew I commented and was like, "Oh my god, what just happened here? Are you guys gonna meet? Ah, sushi and singing for two." Like,
They need to send you a picture. And if
I
they
was
ever get
so
engaged, I
excited.
hope you're the officiant.
Well, and I did say, because I'm Dana and I have a dark side, I was like, I hope this isn't like the precursor to a Dateline or a
Oh
2020.
my
Like,
God.
somebody's gonna get murdered, I don't know. Or I just got catfished and it's the same person with two different profiles. I don't know. My sister's working in fraud right now, so I know all these secrets online, and I'm like,
Oh.
oh my God, I'm just terrified all the time. You wouldn't believe the stuff people do. It's crazy. Anyway, I guess I'm done.
Well, we definitely need a cleansing breath.
Oh, I think so. I worked myself into a coughing fuss.
Same.
So what we like to do is rant out the things that annoy us or annoy you. We know that in the whole scheme of things, none of this stuff is a big deal. But
Speak for
even,
yourself.
well, except for when it comes to Jessica's nose, don't fuck with her. We get it all out, have a sense of normalcy in life because we ain't living in a normal time right now. And then we fill up with goodness and fun information and rave about charity and good news and all of these things. So this part of our show, I always feel like is the cornerstone of what we do, because I'm not a big foo-foo fee about meditation and breathing and crystals and all of that stuff. But I do believe that there's help in grounding yourself and breathing. So if you're listening to this and you want to scream it out, that's fun. If you can't, at least take a second to breathe with us, you guys. I swear to God, it's going to be refreshing. Okay? Here we go. Let's take a deep breath in. And I took a second. I took a second breath. That feels
Good.
nice.
Yes.
Feels nice. And I'm also drinking a smoothie Dan Tipton made for me yesterday, so I got a little whiff of berry as I did that. Did you just cover
That's
your
very
nose?
nice. No, I covered my whole face. I'm alone. I don't know why I did that. I cleared my throat into my hoodie.
I thought you were trying to let me know and not the listeners that you don't like the smell of berry.
Hilarious. No, I love berries.
I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, anyway, we just spent an hour on the first half of our show.
Yep.
Looks like this is going to be a long one. I'll keep my mouth shut from now on.
All right, you guys, this is a corner that I don't know how we've categorized things like this in the past, but I have decided to call it See Something, Say Something corner, because we could all do that a little more in life and trust our gut. This was sent in from a listener and our dear friend Sarah. This is from CNN. A woman saw a boat capsize out her window during a work video meeting. Her 911 call saved 3 fishermen.
Whoa.
This is by David Williams. And this just happened Friday, February 4th. 3 fishermen were rescued from the frigid waters off the Massachusetts coast after a woman working from home happened to look out her window and saw their boat capsize and sink. Clinging to floating fishing gear to stay afloat, the men were in the water for almost an hour on Tuesday before help arrived, according to the Scituate Police Department. They were not wearing life jackets or survival suits.
Ooh.
Yikes. Pam Hart saw the boat in the distance during a work video call while at her home in Marshfield, some 30 miles south of Boston. She quickly realized something was wrong. It looked like the boat was taking on water, which I guess at the time it had actually rolled, and then I saw a dark cloud of smoke and the boat disappeared. That was probably in a matter of 60 or 90 seconds. She said she was in shock at first and assumed that rescuers were on the way, but didn't see any response. I just started really panicking on the inside, so I excused myself from the work call and called 911. It turns out she was the only person to report the incident.
Oh my God.
Okay. So, in the effort of time and to not blab everyone's ear off, I'm going to even stop reading the article, because the good news is they were found and they were saved, because I have several points I want to make about this. Dana had sent me something this weekend about a young woman who went to deliver food.
Instacart.
She's Instacart and got really lightheaded when she was making the delivery and bringing it in the home, and noticed that there was a propane tank and thought maybe there was a leak and told someone about it. Turns out she was right.
Yep.
And saved the person's life.
Saved
and the
2
woman
people. There was a young man in there with that.
Yes. So using her instincts, and she said, I just had to say something. We all sometimes think, I don't want to be
None of our business.
dramatic, it's not a big deal, la la la. I remember wholeheartedly being in high school, and one of the classes that I took was all about it wasn't a psychology class, but it was like human behavior and the psychology behind it and whatnot. There was a very, very, very famous case that some of you may have heard about, which I think it like happened in the 70s. It was a woman that was attacked in the courtyard of her apartment building. I believe it was in New York City. And she's screaming, like screaming. And not one person helped her, came to her aid, or called the police. When the police came to, survey the situation and interview people, every single person had a different answer as to why they didn't
They
call.
didn't do it. Yeah. There's that famous old case from New York, Kitty. I'm so sorry. I can't remember her last name, but same thing. She was murdered outside of her apartment building.
So
And
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe it was
reverse were
murder. But
screaming. Yeah.
again, a lot of the response was, I thought someone had already called,
Yeah.
or I was scared, or I didn't know it was serious. On and on and on.
And I would say definitely don't put yourself in danger, but call, tell, do something.
Of course, you
You
just
you just
make the
don't know.
call. A
Yeah,
worst case scenario is that it's a misunderstanding.
totally.
Kind of like the time when I legitimately, and it's going to make me so upset recounting this, I legitimately thought I was overhearing someone being beaten to death. And
Oh,
I was on the phone with a friend in Texas, and she could hear it through the phone, if that tells you how loud it was. And it was coming from the apartment building next to and behind mine. And she said, "You've got to hang up with me. You've got to call 911." And I was so frantic. I called 911. I was trying to stay composed, but I was crying and frantic. And I said, "There's somebody being attacked. It's getting worse. It has been continuing. I think somebody needs to come out here right away."
mhm,
So, my whole point of this is, very shortly after, there was a SWAT team literally crawling through the bushes in front of my apartment and
mhm,
surrounding all of the buildings and all that.
mhm.
When the person who was in charge of that crew that came and knocked on my door, couldn't have been ruder, and treated me like I was an idiot for calling, because it was USC students making a student film. Well, guess what? Nobody had bothered to alert us all
Right,
to
right.
that. And I'm telling you, this was happening. It wasn't like at 2 in the morning, it was like 10 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
And no lights were on. I kept peeking through one little crack in my blinds. No one was to be seen. So I'm telling you, I think everyone closed their lights, were acting like they weren't home, were hiding in their own apartments,
Yeah,
because there was no sign of life. And that was never the case where I was living, ever.
yeah.
And I was so angry. And I told that guy, whatever person from the SWAT team who treated me like an idiot, I was so angry. And I said, "You go back to your station and you listen to that 911 call where you can hear what I heard. And when you can hear me hysterically crying, and you tell me that I'm an idiot for
Yeah.
calling you for that."
Yeah, no, you can't accept that. That's an angry person that got mad about their job. Because if you are going to shame people into silence, nobody's ever gonna get help.
It's crazy.
It's
I
yeah.
did I did not mean to turn that into a mini rant. This is a corner, but seriously, my point of this is that young woman saved someone's life by telling them she thinks they have a gas leak. This woman saw from miles away out her window during a work Zoom, "Oh my god, there's something
There's
going on
both.
out there,"
Yeah,
and called. So
yeah.
please, if you think something is wrong, just call. That is what the experts are there for. You call the fire
I
department,
Yes,
you
I do that
call
even, like, there was
police.
one time I walked into a convenience store and I saw a man who was a little, I'll just say dirty, you know,
Mhm.
talking to some very young teenage girls, and I could tell they weren't exactly comfortable, like, there was just a vibe of, "I don't like this," especially as a woman, 'kay?
Yep.
So when I went into that convenience store, I said to the clerk, "Do those girls know that person?"
Mhm.
And he looked and he said, "Oh, yeah, they do. They know him. He they come with him a lot." I did not have any shame
Yep.
over that because
Nope.
if those 2 little girls had been injured and I didn't say anything,
Yep.
Lord have mercy on my soul.
I know.
I just, if I see a grown man talking to young girls, I'm
Yes.
going to say something. If I see a car wreck, I live in Los Angeles. There are millions of people here. I still call 911. And if they say,
Me
ma'am,
too.
we've already had 5 calls about it, I go,
Great.
excellent. Thank you. Bye-bye. And I get
Yep.
off as fast as possible so they can
Yep.
take the next emergency
That's
call.
right. And you just made a great point too. The whole point is sometimes even the simplest, quickest bit of intervention can prevent something.
Yeah.
Somebody just saying, "Excuse me," or saying, "Hey, can I speak to you?" or just any kind of interruption, distraction, or whatever can give someone the time to flee, can give someone the time to open their eyes at you, like, thank you, or yes, this is not
Well, when I was
good, and
walking
make
in,
that person slink away, hopefully.
yes.
Like,
When I was walking in, I walked very slowly and I was looking at them. And when the girls looked at me, I went, hi, just to see if I could see any
uh-huh.
hesitation. And
Uh-huh.
then I still said to the clerk, do those girls know that man?
Yep.
And I have no shame about it.
I know.
Was it any of my business? No, but I'm a mommy. And
Yep.
if I had a young daughter and someone saw something that just made them go, is this okay? I would appreciate it.
100%.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, good, excellent corner.
Yes.
Oh my God, you just took a breath. Did you hear that?
I did.
You went, how funny. Yeah, great corner. Thank you, Jessica.
Yep.
So my corner is a what the what corner. This is from UPI.com. What is that, Jessica?
We've had this before. Hilarious.
Have I
United
asked this?
Press. Yes.
You
It's
guys,
a legit news
I
source.
constantly say my brain's a toilet. So yes, I flushed that. I have no memory of it whatsoever. Anyway, this is from UPI. It's written by Ben Hooper. This is so great. I could see myself doing this, but it turning out so differently. $30 drawing from yard sale found to be worth more than $10 million.
Let's go to a garage sale this weekend.
I love garage sailing. If there's a garage sale, especially within walking distance,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
there. Oh,
Same.
I bought my girlfriend's little 2-year-old a closet of princess dresses from a garage sale a few weeks ago.
Cute.
Okay. A drawing purchased for $30 at a yard sale has been valued at more than $10 million after being identified as previously unknown work by German Renaissance artist Albrecht Dürer. The London-based Agnews Gallery said Clifford Shore, a Boston-based art collector and consultant for the gallery, was in Massachusetts bookstore in 2019. When the 2019, it wasn't even that long ago.
Mhm.
Oh my God. When the owner asked him to take a look at a drawing purchased by a friend, the bookseller told Shore the drawing, which had been purchased for $30, might be a Dürer original. He was skeptical, but he visited the owner, who wished to remain anonymous, and a few weeks later was shocked to see the drawing titled The Virgin and Child appeared to be the work of Dürer, who died in 1528. When you're in my world, you spend your life looking for unknown things that lead to fascinating research avenues. I could see I was at the beginning of something extremely exciting. He spent 3 years traveling around the world to verify the authenticity of the piece. The art collector said experts agree that technical age analysis places the drawing in the right time period, and the piece bears hallmarks of Dürer's work. In terms of relative value, I think you have to compare it to other old master drawings. So anyway, there's nothing more that's revealing about that, but how incredible is that?
10 million. Let me tell you something. If I bought something for $30 and it turned out to be worth $1,000, I'd be ecstatic.
Here's the thing, Jessica, I would
10
never
million?
I wonder sometimes if I own things, because back in the Midwest, people get rid of stuff all the time. Like,
Yep.
Someday when I have a home large enough for 3 people and books to live in, I will have it. But I have a library, a
Mhm.
literal library, and all of the books are over 100 years old. And my parents
Wow.
bought it for me at a garage sale. And I have like a first edition Black Beauty in there. It's
Oh,
real
that's
beat up.
amazing.
It's very beat up and probably worth nothing. But to me, it's worth a lot. That's
Yeah,
history, you know?
totally.
And I'm always like, I bet I have things in my home that are probably worth quite a bit that I just don't even know.
Maybe we need to have somebody from Antiques Roadshow come and do a little looky-loo.
Maybe because I used to pick up old stuff. I'm an old soul, I think, because I picked up old stuff from garage. I still do it.
Mhm.
I
Same.
still do. Anyway, that's incredible. $10
I
million.
know, right? Yep.
I'd sell that so fast.
You never know.
Then I could buy
Also,
a house to fit my library in.
a lot of people don't know this, but if you go to thrift stores and are looking at paintings, most of them, when you turn them around, have been cut. If they were covered with paper on the back or fabric, they've been cut, and you'd think, what? It's because people used to hide money behind the paintings.
Yes. Hmm.
So,
Or even other, I've heard of people hiding, like artists hiding sketches and drawings back there.
yep. Sometimes you can get a real winner and you're like, turn it over. You're like, oh my God, look at this. I've
Yeah.
even liked the covered up side sometimes better than
Yes,
the
totally.
framed side.
Yeah,
It's
so
so
cool.
crazy.
Very, very cool.
Here's hoping.
For what? Money or art?
All of it, but really to find that next diamond in the rough.
Well, I know where there's one right in front of your face. I am priceless. Woo! You guys can steal that. Tell somebody. Tell
Oh my
somebody you're
God.
priceless today.
Hilarious. Oh my God. All right. We will move on to our raves. I am
Are
going
you
to
pulling yours out of a drawer?
I'm pulling it out, yes. So this is something that I have never seen, and this is a gift that was just sent to me by my stepmother, and I really appreciate it, and I'm really going to encourage all my girlfriends to get one. And I
Oh,
have good
nice.
news for all of you. They have a discount currently right now through Valentine's Day.
Mhm.
This is the Birdie. Have you heard of
Okay.
it?
No, that's cute.
Okay.
What is this?
Super cute. It comes in different colors. It also comes with a beautiful brass keychain to
That's
hang it on.
a good key. What do
Okay.
you call those things? I have one, but it's not a
I don't
twist
know, but
one. It
it
opens.
unscrews, then you put
Yeah,
them on. It's great.
there's a name
So,
for them, but anyway, that's cool.
what is the Birdie, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell y'all. So, Birdie is a personal safety alarm made for women by women. This colorful alarm has a 130 decibel alarm and flashing strobe light designated to deter an attack.
Mm,
When in doubt, pull it. Feeling uncomfortable? Trust your gut. Activate Birdie to create a diversion and bring all eyes on you. Pull the top to start the loud siren and flashing strobe light. When you feel safe, reinsert the top to deactivate the alarm. So, you guys, I went outside to try this. Admittedly, I was petrified to
mhm,
pull it because I'm so clumsy. That's why I never carried pepper spray or mace. I'm like, you don't get it. I will spray it in my own face and it will be a
mhm.
disaster. So I never carried that stuff. Um, this is fantastic. It is real easy to use, and there's a little speaker on the back. So
Mhm.
you cover that with your thumb, and there's a video, and it literally couldn't be easier. I watched it on YouTube. The video is all of maybe 20 seconds long. You
'Kay.
pull the tab, you then go like this and face the speaker part towards the attacker, I guess, or away from you. It also
Uh-huh.
has the strobe on the other side.
So it's
It
blinding
is
them.
so that hopefully, again, it does something. That thing that we were talking about earlier with the corner, sadly, they tell people like if you're ever need help, yell fire because people will run outside and that will perk people up
Mhm.
instead of yelling help because people may not
Get
come with
scared.
help.
Yeah.
If you hear an alarm, I mean, how annoyed are you with an alarm? And I go outside to see whose car is going off or whatever.
Mhm.
Also, I read a story where somebody pulled this and threw it at the attacker and then ran. So it
Wow!
caused enough alarm. It gave them time to get away. The person was like, ah. Um, this is fantastic. They're $29.95. There's currently a 15% discount on it. I can't recommend this enough to people. And when I
Yeah.
thank my stepmom for it, it almost made me cry. She said, I hope you never have to use it.
Yes, I love that she sent that to you because
Yep.
to me that is such a sign of love. I constantly am sending my girlfriend who is younger and
hmm
slight and
hmm
goes out a lot, self-defense videos.
Yeah. Well, maybe
I
she needs one of these. I'm not
yeah,
kidding. Not that you
she
don't
would
need to know how to
definitely
defend yourself.
no, she would definitely not be opposed to that. I don't know too many women that would. Like
Right.
I will definitely check that out as soon as we're done here.
Yep. So I'll quickly just read some more about this. As sisters, we come from a large, tight knit family filled with women, mothers, sisters, daughters, and nieces. In our communities, we are connected to and inspired by more women, young and old, bright and bold. A personally heartbreaking statistic. When we prepared to send our oldest kids off to college, we wrestled with the fact that 1 in 5 women is raped in her lifetime in the United States.
Is that a real fact?
Yep. And that's from the
Oh my
CDC.
God.
So God knows what it is worldwide. 1 in 5 women in the US will be raped at some point in their life.
Oh
This
my
is not
God.
only a horrifying statistic, but one that is personally heartbreaking because it includes 1 in 5 of our women too. Birdie envisions a world where women are safe. We're here to activate women and accelerate change. Use this tool to stop a life altering tragedy. Listen to your gut. Watch out for your friends. Talk to your daughters. Include boys and men in these conversations because we can't have a conversation about women's safety with just women.
Mhm.
Now, also, I mean, I love this as a rave because it's safety related, anyways, but just as an extra thing that makes me love this company even more, I see that they also give back. With every alarm purchased, Birdie gives a percentage of profits to our partner organizations that passionately support women's safety, shelter, and health. Their hashtag is chirp loudly.
Love it.
So yeah, it's great. Alan's like, isn't that kind of cumbersome? And I said, I'll take cumbersome.
Over being raped or attacked.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I'm going to tell you right now. I was like, oh, this is neat, but I already have a cute keychain. Well, I decided that I will use that cute keychain for my spare key
Right.
for if I ever need to give that to someone in the future, and will happily carry this. Another thing I like about it is I realized if I go to valet, all I got to do is unscrew. I can give them my key and it can still be on a ring, and I can carry my birdie with me wherever the heck I'm going.
Absolutely. That is why I have I don't know why the name of it is slipping my mind right now, but why I have a hook. However, mine you push it in, and I
Yes.
will say if it pushes, you could lose a key. But I have
Carabiner.
that's it, carabiner. I specifically do that because here in LA, we have to use valet everywhere we go. I
Yep.
mean, practically, sometimes even the grocery store. And I don't like giving my house key
No.
and anything else I have keys
Yep.
to, just stick that in a piece of gum. You got a copy of my key. Fill that in with resin. You can go have a key made.
Yep.
Okay. I don't like doing that. And I hate that I have to live in fear like that. But I know too many women who have been raped and
Yes.
attacked in their homes.
Yes. Yes.
And I think that's probably something men don't really think about as much. But when you give those people the keys to your car, if your house key is on there, they also have your address because all of your registration
Yep.
information's in your car.
I've been thinking about that too because
Yeah.
my car was burgled. They didn't, well, I think I've told you guys this. They did steal my digital tape measure and my
Right.
painter's tape that
It's
I
so
keep
funny.
on hand when I go to clients. Oh my God. But uh, I got really freaked out, and I was talking to officers about this week when I was working with them. I said, it occurred to me, I've got to carry my registration in case I ever need it or am pulled over.
Mhm.
But when people have broken into my car, which has been many times, they now have my name, my address.
And
Yes,
they
my
can steal
car's parked right in front.
they can use that info
Yes.
to steal your identity too.
And he said, look, you have a really good point. And of course, in my next life, I would never remember to take it with me everywhere. I just wouldn't. He goes, if you want to take it out of the car, and please, nobody take my word as the gospel. But he said, now a lot of people have it on their phone, and that's okay. I said,
Oh,
really?
I
The
never
police
thought
will
about that.
accept it if I have a thing on my phone, and he said, yeah. I was like, okay, I'm gonna
Well,
tell him you told me that.
it's certainly worth investigating into
Yes.
because obviously we carry our vaccination cards digitally. California provides that
Yep.
anyway.
Well, I didn't have my insurance card on me. I don't know why, but I just didn't when I was
Mhm.
buying my car a couple of weeks ago.
Mhm.
And I was like, can I? I pulled it up online and he goes, oh, yeah, of course. That's fine. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah.
So,
It's interesting. I follow a lot of feminist Instagram and TikTok accounts. I'm sure that's shocking to people. Uh, and there's one guy that he's very positively supportive of
mm,
women and equal rights and all of these things. But he made a video recently, and I think it was shared by at Feminist Squad. Don't quote me on that, but he said, it is very frequent that when a woman is just being friendly towards a man, he interprets that as flirting. And this happens to me a lot. And I'll get into why I think that happens to me specifically a lot. But he said, a woman could just be being legitimately friendly, and a man will interpret that as flirtation. And then when she rebuffs it, he's furious.
yep.
Okay. And he said, the reason is because those men cannot imagine having a conversation with you or that you have any value to offer other than as a sexual object.
Mhm.
That was such a powerful, I was like, yeah. And I think it happens to me a lot because I have this pudgy cherubic face. I'm Midwest raised. I often have a smile, even if it's not like going, approach me, because I've trained myself to be that way for our industry.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'd just be playing angry bitches all the time, which is happening.
Well, I
a
have
lot.
resting bitch face 24 hours a day. So,
And if I'm just speaking normally as I would to even my father, very frequently, they're like, this fat girl's pretty desperate for attention. I can get her in the bag easy. And I know that that's true. And people will go, Dana, those are your story snakes. It has
Mhm.
happened enough to me in my
Mhm.
life that I know. I've seen how men work. They target
I've
overweight
heard people say it or go, I don't think so. Or really? Somebody
women.
attacked her? It's like, yes, you
Yes.
fool.
I
Maybe
get hit on.
oftentimes more than not because people
Correct.
do
I
this
get
very
hit
thing and
on.
don't
I
believe.
guarantee you I get hit on more than stunning women because they think she's easy prey.
Mhm.
She will be desperate. I can treat her like shit and she'll keep coming back for more
Yep.
because she wants some attention.
Uh-huh.
Well, guess what? You don't even play in my ball field, dude. You don't. Like, you think
Yes.
you do because you think I'm gross. You're the gross one. I would never be interested in you in a million years. I would rather be alone. And
Mhm.
I don't like, I would rather be completely asexual or finger myself till the day I die than be with you. I'm sorry, but I'm real upset about it. I have heard it's just you see you see, you go, why would that attractive man want to be with that woman? Because it's easy. Because he shames her and makes her feel bad about herself, and she thinks she can't do any better. And she's like, look at this hot man. I don't care. He can treat me like that's what's going on in their brain. Well, let me tell you what, this fat girl ain't interested. Gets away.
Wow.
Get a birdie, girls. We
Y'all,
might
we have
need to edit
managed to
that.
have 4 rants today. We've had 4 rants today. Welcome to this episode of The Rants with Dana Powell and Jessica Young.
I really hope Betty doesn't listen to this episode.
Oh my God, hilarious. She'll be cool with it. Before we listen to Dana's rave, I would like to tell you that their website is shesbirdie.com. That's SHESBIRDIE.com. Shesbirdie.com. At the very top, when you go to it, you will see Valentine's Day. Use code VDAY15 for 15% off your order. You can pick from all kinds of fun colors. I wouldn't care if it was black,
Yeah,
or white, but
sure.
she picked yellow, and I have to tell you, I really like it, and it'll
It's
be
so
easy
cute.
for me to find it. But
Yep.
they've got lots of fun colors, and it's not about it looking cute. It's
Mhm.
about our safety. And again, it's very user friendly. And I'm telling you, it's kind of brilliant because anyone could use this. Anyone. It does not require strength, screwing things on and off, anything like that.
Also,
It's
you
just
don't have
boom.
to be a female either, and let me make that clear. If
She
you're
got one for my dad.
good,
I'm so glad you're
good.
saying this. My dad's
Mhm.
like, yeah, she got one for me too. I mean, I don't know when I'll ever use it. I said,
I hope
Dad,
you don't have to.
I hope you don't have to, but you should carry it. And
Yeah.
maybe you could have used it one of the 2 times that you were held at gunpoint for your wallet back in the day
Mm,
when you traveled every week for work. My
mm,
dad was held up in New Orleans and in Baltimore. And
mm.
my dad, I don't know how, didn't give him his wallet. So he's lucky that he's alive.
Yeah, he's lucky they didn't
I was
shoot him.
like, "Who do you think you are, Crocodile Dundee? That's not a knife. That's a knife."
No,
I'm like,
no material possession is worth your
"That's
life.
not a knife. That's a Mont Blanc pen, and if you step any closer, I will stab you with it." What? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no physical possession is worth your life ever.
No.
None. Not even a wedding ring. Like, I know people are like,
Nope.
"This is
I
so
know that's
sentimental, please
devastating, but
don't take it."
nope.
It's not worth your life. It's really
Nope.
not. Thank you for sharing that, Jessica.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I apologize for my inappropriateness, but I get real riled up about safety
No, of course.
and about how, especially after the fact that you said 1 in 5 women in America are raped.
Right?
It's like that thing. I think it was the same guy that pointed this out, like,
Staggering.
you ask any woman, "Do you know anyone who's been raped or have you been raped yourself?" Every woman you speak to will say yes. You ask a man, they're like, "No, I don't know anyone." So, who's raping all these women if it's not men?
Right.
It's a problem. Anyway, thank you so much, Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm seriously gonna check that out, and I
Yeah.
love that they give back too.
Mhm.
Amazing. My rave this week is from one of our OG listeners,
Yeah.
Mai in New Zealand, and
Yes.
I want to move to New Zealand, so get ready.
Yes.
Let's figure it out. God, it's so beautiful.
So
Um,
beautiful.
okay, this is Girls That Invest on Instagram. So their handle is at Girls That Invest. Hello, ladies. A rave for you to share, maybe? Absolutely. I started listening to Girls That Invest this year, and it has made some scary money concepts seem pretty easy to understand. A great way to help women become financially independent, which is super important, ladies, even if you're married. Okay. Please have your own
Yep.
financial independence. You don't know what's going to happen. They may not leave you, they may die. What if that house isn't in your name and your house goes
Mhm.
into probate, even though you're still
Mhm.
alive with your kids? Just saying. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh, a great way to help women become financially independent in a world where many women aren't able to get out of a bad relationship because of the money and other situations. And also, when
Mhm.
they leave, they're left with nothing, no matter how many years they invested into that world,
Yep.
that family, that life, they walk away with nothing. And I know
Mhm.
this because I have a sister that it happened to twice.
Mhm.
Um, Let's see. They are based in New Zealand, but they discuss investing worldwide. So she sent us an example post. The biggest blessing you get when you have money as a woman is not the house or the splurges. It's the ability to say fuck no to any situation that disrespects or does not deserve you. Does not serve you. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Well, if it doesn't serve you, it doesn't
Hey, doesn't
deserve you.
deserve you.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right. I really like that post.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mai. At Girls That Invest. And I think that's
It's
wonderful too,
great.
because when we're talking about this Bitcoin world and you think about like old school Wall Street traders and stuff, the bulk of that world is masculine. The bulk
Yes.
of that world is men. And that information is not out there super easily for people to get. So
Mhm.
I think Girls That Invest, that's amazing. Make yourselves independent, ladies, because you don't know what like not only that, but it gives you a sense of self-worth, value,
Yes.
self-respect.
Yep.
Be financially independent if you can. Work towards it.
Mhm.
You will feel good about that, I promise.
Absolutely.
So
And you're
thank
right.
you for sharing that.
Anything can happen. So it's great. And investments, again, I think we always like picture men being financial advisors, men being stockbrokers and
I
traders
mean,
and all
even
this other
movies
stuff.
used to make that assumption.
Yep. Dad makes the decision on where the family is going to invest their money and all of that
Mhm.
stuff.
We
But yes,
move across the country for dad's
yep.
job. Yeah.
It's a generational thing. And I still think a lot of people, even in the current generation, aren't taught this. But It is imperative. I know it really did not serve my mother well to
Mhm,
grow up in an extremely wealthy family,
mhm.
and then for my mom to, not by any fault of my dad, so I just wanna take the onus off. Ooh, I'm getting personal here. But my
Mm,
mom was in, another marriage and lost all of her money,
mm,
and she was not taught to invest. She was not taught, hey, you need to make sure and do the following things and don't let somebody else have all access or control to this. And it really, really, really cost her. That's a gross understatement again. It's like,
absolutely. We have to educate ourselves. If you
yep,
haven't been educated, you have to educate yourselves
yep,
because I think generally speaking, sometimes I do this just out of pure laziness. I don't want to know the ins and outs of
hmm,
bills or whatever it
right?
is, right? But because of experience that I've seen with other women in my life, I have made that a personal goal of
Totally.
and as a result, you guys know that Jessica and I are in entertainment. So the way that we work and the way that we're paid and stuff is very different than what the norm would
Hmm.
be. And we got to a point where some laws were changing about taxes and refunds and all of this. And I said to my husband, I really think we need to incorporate. I think this is the best move for us financially right now. It's going to benefit us in things that are required for our jobs that
Hmm.
it's not required for normal people. We need help with that because we have to have it. So, long story short, we
Hmm.
did it, and the accountant was like, it's a real good thing you listen to your wife. She's spot on. She is absolutely correct. And literally, it's the thing that saved us during this pandemic.
Yep.
Am I the sharpest tool in the shed? Hell no. But I try to be informed. And I
Hmm.
saved my family by doing that.
Yep.
So have some independence. It doesn't mean you're going to leave your partner.
Right.
It doesn't mean you're preparing to like go off and live in the mountains by yourself and have financial freedom
Mhm.
and also annoyance freedom for the rest of your life.
Right.
It's just being prepared in case.
Hmm.
So, anyway, love it. Thank you so much for
Yes.
sending that in.
It's
I
fantastic.
something that empowers women and educates them. I am on board. At Girls That Invest. Thank you so much, my would
Hmm.
love it. Check it out.
Indeed.
Jessica,
Dana.
I think that's finally our show.
I think it is.
Well, we like to end the show with like a point to ponder for the week. We also like to talk about anything we're watching. Are you watching anything new?
No, nothing new.
Okay, I am. Great. It's been a while, so I'm really excited. I binged a show called Archive 81, which I really loved. It's a
Yes.
spooky, like this guy is a digital film restorer, and there's just this web of like lies and secrecy, and a little bit of supernatural in there, a little bit of time travel. I love it. Archive 81, it was good. And then I think I may have mentioned this like a couple of years ago on the show, if you've been able to handle us that long. The Alienist, did I ever tell you about that? Dakota Fanning's in it.
Mhm.
So I just started season 2 I don't know when it came out. I just noticed and I'm
Mhm.
so into it. Love it. Those are both great shows.
Love it. Well, I will say, I've brought it up before. I'm on season 2 of Euphoria,
Yeah.
and I have to say that episode 5 of Euphoria, which is what just dropped this week, is one of the most real um, and telling episodes if you have ever known or loved or cared for someone that is an addict.
Mm,
This episode is so real. I mean, there's not really a spoiler alert, but Zendaya's character is an addict
sure.
in the show, so I'm not giving anything away.
No, uh-uh.
And let me tell you something, that this is her Emmy or Golden Globe performance.
Oh, good for her.
It really, really took my breath away.
It's so painful to see stuff like that,
It
but it
is.
makes it a reality for others.
It's so real, and for teens and for
Mhm.
parents who are trying everything to help their child and don't know how to help and really can't help in some situations. But it's really, really good.
Wow.
It's a very hard show to watch. I am not telling you it's a must see, feel good. It's not a feel good show.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If you're a parent, you'll be
I always
horrified.
say I always say this and I believe it to my core. Art makes change.
Yes.
So that it's important.
I agree.
It's important.
Totally.
I have a real quick point for you to ponder. It's just something I want you guys to think about, see if it's useful to you. Might not be. I feel like I'm going to find a way for it to be useful for me. Don't want to frighten anyone. Grapes light on fire in the microwave. Just letting you know, little organic food bombs. All right, guys, in case you need it, can't afford a birdie, put some grapes in the microwave. Haul those grape-a-toff cocktails off wherever you need to. Jessica, I love you.
Will you please say that last part? Because it just went all jumbly jargle.
Oh, I said, in case you need it, you got some grape-a-toff cocktails to throw at people for safety if you need. Just pop some grapes in the microwave and go haul them, shoot, just use that arm. Fling those flying grapes. Organic bombs.
God. Hilarious.
Right?
Yes.
Is it hilarious or am I saving lives? Thank you, Jessica.
We love you guys. We'll be back next week.
We'll be back next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.